Hello again, traders. Right, this is take 3 of this video, so I'm going to try and I got off topic and got a bit rambly, so I'm going to try and keep this on topic. And basically what I want to do is explain how I approach this long trade on pound yen. And a really important point that I've not mentioned before is why I leave a tiny portion running. And that is, before I ramble on again, that is because it keeps me focused on that particular trade, and you learn the flow of the market. I mean, this has gone and hit my target, which was roughly 10 pips, just under actually. It went to 10 pips. I took 90% profit, or 99% profit in this case, at 9 pips. And what this does is just keeps me focused on the trade. I still regard this as a long trade. So as you can see, since my initial trade there, hiding behind that big green candle, it's been up, down, up, down, up, down. It's seen a 17 pip drawdown thereabouts. Well, not drawdown, but pullback. Yeah, I suppose you could call it drawdown, but it's calculated, or it's accounted for, should I say. But the initial trade absolutely flew to where I expected it to, or where I wanted it to, and that actually now, so we've covered that. I love watching the flow of the market, but it will keep me, when it hits 2 or 3 pips and pulls back and goes to 0 or whatever, then is possibly time to reassess all the indicators, all the chart movements, and see whether I can load up with a full-size trade again. So, something I've not really mentioned about why I leave that on there. I have said that it teaches me stuff. Well, it does, and it has, and I love it now. It's part of my trading toolkit, as it were. So, just means that instead of looking for another trade, I can jump back in on this one, and I have mentioned that in the past. Going back in full size, so that helps enormously. The indicator is called pipsometer, I think, 5 decimal places or something like that. But let's get back to how I initially found this trade, and it all starts about 10 o'clock last night, UK time. Close of the markets, new opening daily bar, and what I did, roughly around 10 o'clock, 9:10, I can study the old dashboards, and starting on the daily, I can clearly see we had a bunch of inside bars, and you don't have to leave it till 10 o'clock. You could probably get involved and look at, because that's yesterday's daily bar. It's an inside bar on the daily chart. Incidentally, sorry, this is a mother bar scenario with numerous inside bars, and Don, if you're watching this, thank you so much for your input. It's another addition to the charts, the dashboards that I watch out for now, the big bar reversals, the inside bars, all those sort of things, 3CRs, and big bars that close at supply for reversals, big bars that close at demand for reversals. Best ones in the big bar scenarios are the wicks. The smaller the wick, the most likely, in my opinion, you will get a bounce off of those levels. But that's another strategy that we're just introducing. So while I think of that as well, guys, if you're new to what I do, or you're relatively new to trading, when I say that, anything up to 2, 3, 4 years is still relative newbie. So don't expect to learn this in months. Some do, very few in my opinion. But you know, don't get distracted by all the new stuff. The basics are going to be always the basics. That's the 3 candle reversal, the new RSI histo, well, new in my books, nearly 3 years now, I suppose. The TMA slope, the RSI histo bust, break and close. If you took everything off your charts, I would rely on the 3CR and the RSI histo bust, pullback, break and close. Have a look at a few of Mike Cohn's charts on my Twitter feed. Fantastic charts, fantastic visual explanations. You could learn a lot from him if you want to look at really back to basic stuff. So, and there's loads of others as well. Apologies, I can't run through the whole list of you, but you know who you are. Thank you all for your input. I've learnt so much. So back to this analysis. So last night, last thing I did was check the forex news for today. Make sure there's nothing stupid going to happen when I'm thinking of hitting a trade. Asian session news, then the Frankfurt session, although I'm generally flat by then, and then the just really the US session to see whether there's anything that's going to affect the flow of the markets, as it were. US news can often cause sideways markets running up to it, just accumulating those orders ready for the big old breakouts based on what they decide to lie about in the news. Manipulation. So anyway, checked a load of inside bars. GJ was an inside bar, which was why I traded that long today. The breakout happened just about roughly when I was although I don't trade breakouts per se, but you will get that momentum burst when they decide to try and break these significant levels, the high and low of that inside bar. So what else can we glean from the chart? So the next thing, after checking the daily overnight, then when I wake up in the morning, I double check this. This is interesting. Swissy, that was really interesting. Tiny inside bar, and look, next to no movement today. I can't understand what is going on there at all. Although, I know, actually it's a bank holiday in Switzerland. That was the last thing I posted last night. I'm sure it is. And a few other places, France and somewhere else as well, I think, Germany. So European bank holiday, and lo and behold, the Swiss franc is dead as the proverbial. Interesting. So UJ, again, inside bar. GU we talked about. That was my plan at night, to sleep on that, then wake up. I know exactly what I want to do in the morning, know exactly where I'm going to look. Then a perfunctory look at the H4s, although I wasn't really that interested. At 3:30 I woke up, rolled over about 3:30, literally 3:30, and it was 3:33 I think when I first opened my daily bar, and so I want to be double checking the 30-minute at that moment in time to see what's going on, and then assess the charts from there. So daily chart, H4 if you want, H1 worth a check, because if you see a big old H1 bar into supply or demand with small wicks, something like this, then you're looking for a potential reversal. This isn't an H1, I know, but that's what I would be looking for. Same goes for the M30. So here we can now see we've just turned over. That's why the 5 AM, this is interesting. We can see these bars doing their stuff in real time. So literally a brand new H1 bar, and I can't see anything particularly interesting in that, which in is itself useful information. But I don't want to digress too much because I don't want to have to make this video again. So M30, let's have a look at any of those. So big old bar there into, or relatively big body, should I say, compared to these two wicks. And that does have a bit of interest. That would be worth further investigation if I wasn't already in a trade. Nothing else particularly interesting. We've got inside bars going on. So what is GJ doing? So we made an inside bar. No surprises there. When you looked at that 1 minute, 5 minute chart, whatever we were on, we could see the sideways motion. So it's been doing accumulation there, and now we look like we're possibly moving up. So I said about the information on that live chart. Well, we get loads of information, and this is how it crosses over loads of information just from that little inside bar there on this 30-minute chart. So if we look at H1 now, we might have a little bit more information. Yeah, that's an inside bar too, no surprises there. Sorry, I've got alerts going on and all sorts on this chart. So yeah, inside bar there, no surprises. So when we look at the chart, I would draw a high and a low on that and watch that, and then we've got the inside bar prior to that as well, high and a low on that, and we can see what's going on. So this is literally how I would assess a chart. So we can look at that H1 and we can draw our H1 high and low. Said a million times, these aren't available, those two snap to lines on MT4 for the actual ones with the levels on there, but you can get a free version and it will be linked in my pinned tweet. So without confusing things even more, I've virtually finished this video. It was just how I use the dashboards overnight to make my plan in my head, and then assessing them and entering the trade. So all the usual rules are applied for that long trade. It was descending trend line, ascending trend line, momentum on the 1 minute, 5 minute, and so on. Let's just quickly put those two levels on that 30-minute chart there, that inside bar, and there we are. We've got our breakout levels, the hourly and 30-minute, high and low, and all the old stuff that I used to do, line chart levels, all still really, really important. Everything applies. Everything I do still applies on those 940 plus older videos of mine. So that's it, guys. That was this morning's trade. That's how I use the dashboards. That's how I approach the trade. You've got it straight from the horse's mouth, and we're actually currently in a live trade. And if this gets taken out, it doesn't mean everything's over in the long scenario for me personally, but it could just as easily go short, and I'm not going to go into why or how I would trade that. But one last comment: never ever ever assume anything, in my opinion. You know, go with whatever the charts show you. So if this goes from long to short, I'll look for a short opportunity. If it does resume the long move that I'm currently looking at, then I will follow my rules to enter the long trade. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.